as the end of the Burkinabe President Captain Ibrahim Traore's transitional period draws near. That is according to the October 2022 Transitional Charter, which he swore to observe when he took oath of office on October 6 that year, and which stipulated that he should facilitate a return of the country to a constitutional order via democratic elections by July 2024. Mass demonstrations and public marches have erupted in the country, with thousands upon thousands calling for an extension of the transition. The public demonstrations, which were held on the Saturday of May 11, 2024, particularly occupied the country's two main cities of Ouagadougou and Bobo Dioulasso, as well as other towns, like Gourcy, which is the capital of Zondoma Province, in the country's northern parts. And in the rallies, one thing that became clear was that the Burkinabes dearly love and respect their youthful leader, and in addition to demanding for an extension of the transition, they are also calling for a change of the constitution before the conducting of any democratic elections. In Gourcy town, there were even some citizens that held placards and banners on which it had been written that IB 2050, with the same meaning that Ibrahim Traore 2050, or rather they would like Captain Traore to rule up to 2050. And before we proceed, take a listen at what one citizen at Issoufou Joseph Konombo Stadium in Ouagadougou had to say. As long as the Burkinabe does not have enough to eat, as long as the Burkinabe does not take care of himself for free, as long as the Burkinabe does not completely cover his territory, we, the population of the Burkinabes, the population at the ground, say that the Burkinabe population is not ready for politicians to return to power for now. We don't agree, and it's not even worth it. Then in their written communiqué, this is what the Ouaga protesters had to say. To continue this triumphant march, all layers of our society without exception, without any distinction, are called upon to decide in the near future the path of our country, which is nothing other than the pure and simple extension of this transition, which is led by the people crowned, and the worthy son of the country, Captain Ibrahim Traore. Thus, in accordance with the Transition Charter adopted in October 2022, the people will soon decide on the new directions of the dynamics of the rebuilding of our country. This is why we are launching a solemn and historic appeal to all Burkinabes here, and in the diaspora, to all partners of Burkina, to all peoples, and friends of the Burkinabe people, to work to support this will of the people, which remains the same, that of always supporting Captain Ibrahim Traore as the indisputable leader for the reconquest of our territory and the total rebuilding of our nation. This call arises from the results achieved by Captain Traore's regime from the reconquest of the territory to the rebuilding of society, and the national coordination of true citizen associations notes with satisfaction the results achieved. Similar calls were made in the Midwest city of Bobo Dioulasso, where protesters from all parts of the city converged at the Tifo Amoro Square to show support for the transition and Captain Ibrahim Traore, and everyone shouted loud and clear that the transition should be extended. It's to be noted that equipment of the FDS for resettlement of villages, bravely fighting against neocolonialism, strengthening of the military, reopening of schools after years of closure due to terror threats, launching of the agro-silo pastoral offensive with 64,000 hectares of land having been ploughed, and launching the construction of various factories, are among other facts to the credit of Captain Traore, and which easily convinced citizens to campaign for the extension of the transition.